Alex Hartman sat at a polished table in Café Lux, illuminated by the muted glow of the overhead lights. In front of him, a half-eaten gourmet meal lay untouched. He stared at his tablet, immersed in a world of numbers, contracts, and business deals. The cafe buzzed softly with chatter, but all Alex could hear was the ringing of his phone, a familiar reminder of deadlines that never seemed to end. Suddenly, the delicate chime of the cafe door opened, breaking his concentration. A small figure stood just outside, shivering in the chill of the afternoon. It was a girl, no older than 9, her dirty clothes hanging loosely on her malnourished frame. Her hair was tangled, and her wide, cautious eyes scanned the room until they landed on Alex. In that moment, he was taken aback. He had seen countless faces, had dealt with myriad people in his line of work. But this was different. This was desperation personified. She took a hesitant step forward, her hands clasped tightly in front of her chest. "Excuse me, mister," she stuttered, her voice barely rising above the sound of cutlery clinking against porcelain. I'm really hungry. I saw you eating, and I thought maybe if you weren't going to finish, I could have the bread or the carrots." Alex raised an eyebrow, his heart throbbing painfully against his ribcage. She didn't look like a beggar, she looked like a lost child. His instinct was to turn away, to dismiss her as he had so many others. "This is a private table," he replied flatly, irritation creeping into his tone. "Go away." The girl's lips trembled, but she held her ground. "I didn't mean to be rude," she whispered, "I was just in need. I'm sorry." For the first time in years, Alex felt a flicker of something he had long buried, guilt. Her words echoed painfully in his mind. He glanced down at his untouched plate of food, the luxurious meal feeling suddenly excessive. He blinked slowly, and the world around him blurred. In that brief moment, the noise of the cafe faded into a distant hum, and he wasn't just a businessman anymore. The shadow of a boy from years ago crept back into his mind, a boy who once begged for scraps on the streets. Alex felt the walls he had built around his heart crack just a little. "Wait," he said abruptly, raising a finger to signal the waiter. "Bring another plate, hot food and dessert too." The waiter hesitated, eyes flicking between Alex and the girl. "For her, sir?" "Yes. Exactly." The girl's eyes widened in disbelief. "I didn't mean." "It's okay. Sit down. Eat," Alex interrupted gently, surprising even himself with his tone. Mia hesitated, glancing around as if ready to bolt at any moment. But the rumble of her belly made the decision for her. She slowly pulled out a chair, her movements cautious. When the food arrived, she stared at it like it was a treasure. "Thank you," she whispered, picking up the spoon and taking her first cautious bite. Alex watched her, the weight of the moment settling over him. There was something innocent and pure about the way she savored the food, her eyes lighting up with each bite. She tried to remain composed, wiping away tears, a mix of gratitude and disbelief, as she devoured the meal. Mia finished her food meticulously, placing the spoon down carefully. "I won't bother you again," she said, her voice soft but steady. Alex opened his mouth, unsure how to respond. The girl's quiet strength resonated in him, as if she had lit a spark that had been dormant for years. "Wait," he attempted again, but she was already standing up. "You already helped," she said. And just like that, she turned and walked away, blending into the crowd outside like a shadow. Alex sat back in his chair, the fork hovering between his plate and mouth. The food no longer appealed to him, it felt tasteless. He pushed the plate away and stared out of the window, his mind racing. Mia's words echoed in his thoughts. "I was just in need." That frantic energy followed him home. For the first time in years, he didn't think about business deals. He didn't go over numbers in his mind. Instead, he replayed the moment with Mia, the raw honesty in her voice painting images of a world he had tried to forget. The next morning dawned cold and gray, but Alex woke earlier than usual, feeling an unfamiliar sense of urgency. He skipped his usual morning calls and instructed his driver to drop him off 2 blocks away. "I'll walk," he said simply, hurrying toward Café Lux. As he approached, he saw her again. Mia was seated on a stone ledge, her knees drawn up, gazing off into the distance with a wistful expression. Her mismatched shoes and oversized coat made her look even smaller. "Hey," he called out, taking a few steps closer. She looked up, startled. "I wasn't begging," she blurted out defensively. "I'm just sitting here." I know you're not in trouble, he reassured her, approaching slowly. I was going to get breakfast. Would you like to join me? Her brows furrowed with skepticism. Like yesterday? Yes, he replied, trying to project warmth. Her stomach growled loudly, betraying her attempt to stay composed. I guess, she muttered, a hint of eagerness creeping into her voice. Alex held the cafe door open for her. The same waiter raised an eyebrow but stayed silent as they were seated at the same table. They perused the menu together. What do you want? Alex asked, leaning in to encourage her. I don't know what any of this stuff is, Mia confessed, glancing at the unfamiliar names. He turned the menu around, showing her the pictures. Point at whatever looks good. Mia hesitated, then pointed at a stack of pancakes adorned with berries and whipped cream. Good choice, he said, signaling the waiter. As they waited for the food, Mia sat nervously, fidgeting with her sleeves. What happened to your parents? Alex asked gently. Mia's expression darkened, and she looked down at the table. My mom got really sick. We tried to take care of her, but there wasn't enough money. I was 7 when she died. Alex remained silent as her words hung in the air. He was reminded of the myriad of challenges he had faced growing up. And your dad? He prompted gently. He left after that, she replied, her voice steady but edged with exhaustion. He said he'd come back, but he never did. The weight of her words struck Alex hard. He reflected on his own troubled upbringing, the loneliness of being overlooked and forgotten. So you've been on the streets since then? Sometimes shelters, sometimes churches, she explained. But those places fill up fast. You got to be early and lucky. I never realized how hard it was, Alex admitted, a twinge of guilt creeping over him. Mia looked up at him with those big, earnest eyes. You don't know until you've been there, right? As the waiter served the pancakes, Mia's demeanor shifted. Her eyes lit up, and she couldn't resist diving in. Alex simply watched her, feeling a warmth in his chest he hadn't felt in years. You know, Mia said between bites, you're not like most people. They don't see us. Kids like me. We're like shadows. It's so easy to overlook, he agreed quietly. I did for so long. But that's changing now. After their meal, she stood up with a little more confidence, wiping her mouth with a napkin. Thanks again. I won't come back unless you say it's okay. Same time tomorrow, he suggested, heart pounding at the thought of her absence. Okay, she said, her face brightening with a hint of joy. As she walked away, Alex felt a strange emptiness without her. He finished his coffee, staring at the remnants of the meal they shared. He hadn't felt this connected to anyone in ages. The following days turned into a routine that became the highlight of Alex's life. Each morning, Mia would arrive at the cafe, and they would share breakfast, laughter, and stories. With each meeting, he learned more about her, her dreams, her fears, and the hard lessons she'd absorbed living on the streets. One day, as they shared a plate of warm banana bread, Mia looked up at him. Have you ever wanted to just disappear? Alex met her earnest gaze. Yes, when I was your age, all the time. Where would you go? She asked curiously. A library, he smiled wistfully. I loved to sneak into one near the old train station. I'd pretend to read something smart, even though I didn't understand it. Mia giggled, a sound like music in the air. I used to hide in dryers. The heat made me feel safe, even without clothes. Their connection deepened, and with each conversation, Alex felt the emotional barriers he had built to protect himself dissolve further. It became evident that he wanted to do more for Mia than just share meals, he wanted to help her find stability. That afternoon, the weight of a newfound resolve settled over him. After ending their meeting, he returned to his office and began researching options for transitional housing for children like Mia. He reached out to various organizations, speaking to directors and checking facilities. He was determined to find a place of safety that would allow Mia to thrive. The search brought clarity. Surrounded by polished marble and the corporate sheen of his office, he had never felt more alive than now with a purpose transcending spreadsheets and profits. Mia, Alex said during their next breakfast, his voice steady but laden with importance. I've been thinking about where you're staying. I'm okay, she replied defensively, but the tension in her voice betrayed her uncertainty. I know you are. I know you've learned how to survive, but surviving isn't the same as living. Her eyes flickered with fear. What are you saying? I found a place, he said gently. It's not a shelter. It's a home, a transitional care center. No cold food, no bedtime curfews. Just safety. Mia's lips pressed together, uncertainty clouding her expression. I don't want to be locked up. It's not like that, Alex promised. You'll have your own room. Good people will be there to help you. No one will yell. I'll be there. Why do you care? She challenged, her walls going up. Because I see you, he replied. And I understand more than you think. Mia sat back, digesting his words quietly. The waiter arrived with their food, but she hardly touched it. Can I see the place first? She asked finally. Before I say yes. Absolutely. Let's go today, he replied, enthusiasm bubbling up. They drove to the Haven, a charming Victorian-style house nestled in a peaceful neighborhood. As they pulled up, Alex noticed Mia's eyes widen. This doesn't look like a group home, she said softly, scanning the swing on the porch and the well-kept garden. Clara, the warm-hearted director, greeted them with open arms. Welcome. I can't wait to show you around. As they stepped inside, the comforting aroma of cinnamon and baked apples surrounded them. Clara showed Mia the cozy rooms, each painted in soft colors with personal touches. I like that one, Mia whispered, pointing to a sunny room with a view of the garden. Then it's yours, Clara said with a smile. 2 hours flew by, and when Mia finally came out, Alex noticed a change. She stood taller, visibly more relaxed. I think I can stay here, if you'll still come back, she said, hope flickering in her eyes. I will, he promised firmly, feeling a surge of protectiveness. That night, Alex returned to his sleek, modern penthouse where silence enveloped him, but instead of feeling empty, he found clarity. He calculated the immense changes he could instigate, not just for Mia but for others like her. He pulled out his tablet and composed a long message detailing his intentions to fund more transitional homes, all modeled after the Haven. As the weeks rolled into months, Alex kept his word, checking in on Mia regularly. He brought her books, games, and stories of his own childhood, enriching her life in ways he had never anticipated. Mia thrived at the Haven, enrolled in a local school, and began to flourish academically. She absorbed knowledge with a hunger reminiscent of their breakfasts together. Each time they met, the bond deepened, transforming the two into an unshakable duo. One crisp autumn afternoon, Alex brought Mia a special gift, a small silver locket. She stared at it in awe. It's beautiful. But why are you giving it to me? She asked, bewildered. Because it represents who you are, he said, his heart swelling with pride. Can I call you Dad? She asked hesitantly, the weight of the moment filling the air. Would that be okay? Just once, she said, her voice trembling. Yes, Alex assured her, tears glistening in his eyes as he embraced her. In the months that followed, conversations shifted from the past to dreams of the future. Mia's laughter rang through the Haven, mingling with stories of resilience and hope. Clara approached Alex one day, concern evident in her voice. Mia asked me about adoption today. She's never believed she'd be chosen. The words struck a chord within Alex. I'll do it, he declared, the certainty firm in his voice. The process took time, interviews, evaluations, and paperwork. But Alex pushed through, fueled by love for the little girl who had become his lifeline. Are you sure they won't say no? Mia asked one day, eyes wide with apprehension. They won't, he replied resolutely, remembering the boy he once was, determined to secure a brighter future. The day finally arrived when the papers were signed. The court clerk handed Mia a folder, her full name now etched in ink, Mia Grace Hartman. Is this real? She asked, voice barely above a whisper. Yes, as real as it gets, Alex replied, kneeling to embrace her. That evening, they stood in her freshly painted bedroom, transformed into a vibrant haven filled with colors and stuffed animals. Can I call you Dad? She asked again, uncertainty woven into her voice. Yes, he whispered, pulling her closer. As the days turned into years, their family solidified, creating memories filled with laughter, warmth, and love. The auditorium was packed on a special day, filled with parents, teachers, and friends gathered to celebrate success. In the front row, Alex sat upright, hands folded, not thinking about business but about the girl who had changed his life. The principal stepped up and adjusted the microphone. It is my honor to introduce this year's valedictorian, a young woman whose journey is nothing short of remarkable. Please welcome Mia Grace Hartman. A hush fell over the room as Mia walked confidently onto the stage, her figure radiating strength and poise. Alex's heart swelled with pride. Mia spoke softly at first, but her voice grew stronger as she recounted her past. When I was 9, I asked a stranger for leftovers. I was hungry and scared. But that one moment changed everything. The audience sat captivated as she spoke about the meal shared with Alex and the warmth that followed. He didn't fix everything instantly, but he showed me I was worth being seen. Tears streamed down Alex's face as she spoke, each word reinforcing the incredible journey they had taken together. What I learned is that success isn't about wealth or power. It's about kindness and showing up for each other. Applause erupted, filling the space with a celebration of hope. Alex stood, clapping slowly, tears rolling silently as he embraced the moment. Mia stepped off the stage, rushing into his arms. They didn't need words to convey just how far they had come together. Later that evening, they stood on the balcony of their home, gazing at the city lights below. I still think about that day, when I asked for food, when you told me to go away, Mia said, reflecting on their shared journey. Sometimes, we all need a little spark to ignite change, Alex smiled, squeezing her hand. As they watched the stars flicker above, they realized that their bond was unbreakable, forever stitched together by compassion and understanding. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey. If you enjoyed this story, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment sharing where you're watching from. We love hearing from our viewers at True Spark Stories.